أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. Welcome to this session on preparing for final exams. I'm Sana Zulfikar, student counselor at the International Open University. So, inshallah, in tonight's session, I will be sharing a few tips with you on how you can begin your prep for the final exams, as we have about a few days left. So, inshallah, you can maximize the time that you have to perform better, inshallah. So, without further ado, let's begin. I will be sharing a few tips, like I mentioned, and the first tip that I want to start with, brothers and sisters, is to begin with a renewed intention. So, this is a good time to reflect and contemplate upon your intention behind studying at IOU, taking up this journey, because at the end of the day, we are not here for merely grades or acquiring a job or getting titles. We are here to become a better version of ourselves, to become better Muslims, to be responsible citizens of the world, right? So take a moment to reflect on your intention, as the Prophet ﷺ said, verily deeds are only with intentions, and every person will have only what they intended. Whoever emigrated to Allah and His Messenger, his emigration is for Allah and His Messenger. Whoever emigrated to get something in the world or to marry a woman, his emigration is for that to which he emigrated. So ultimately, your intention counts. So if you're here to learn and to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to strengthen your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if that's your intention, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, that is what you get. So this is a good time, even though we're stressed, we are anxious about the final exams approaching. It gives us comfort and solace to sit down and continuously remind us of the purpose of beginning this journey, bi'idhnillah. Next, of course, coming to the final exams prep is to always be familiar with every detail concerning the final exams. So a lot of students, again, unfortunately, miss out on important dates, they miss out on exam structure, they miss out how it's already done. So I'd encourage you to go over and check out the exam dates, the event schedule that will be available on your dashboard, student dashboard. So go ahead and take a look at the important exam dates, mark those dates in your calendar, set reminders, and maybe you can even start setting dates for the courses that you will be giving exams on. For example, let's say on the 1st of August, you want to attempt Aqida's exam. On maybe the 2nd of August, you might want to attempt fiqh. So maybe it's also good to sit down and mark those dates so that you can complete your modules and your prep accordingly, inshallah. And of course, be aware of the exam structure and format. So typically, students of the revised programs have two parts in their exams. Part A is MCQ and Part B is subjective questions. So, objective questions. So, subjective, yeah, subjective questions. So maybe sit down and take a look at your exam structure. If you've already attempted the midterm exams, the structure of the exams almost remains the same. So take a look at the format again, visit the FAQ page to know more. Then, of course, the duration would be typically 90 minutes. Again, go back to the document, the FAQ page for the final exams, and take a look at all these details. And of course, apologies, there's midterm live sessions here, but what I was trying to say is also try to attend the final exam live sessions that may be happening for different courses. So make sure you are a part of those live sessions so that you can ask important questions, can get your doubts clarified, and in fact revise the content. And of course, you can always reach out to your course teacher for more support. Next, there are a few ways of studying smarter, inshallah. So begin with easier courses first. So of course, all students at IOU will have a varied opinion on which courses are hard and which courses are easier. So by now, I'm sure you might have figured out what's easy for you versus what's a little hard for you. So if you're still in the process of completing your modules, make sure you begin with easier courses first so that you stay focused and you stay motivated. And then maybe move on to the hardest course. So in fact, for the tough courses, let's say a lot of students find fiqh of transactions quite difficult. Some students find Arabic very hard, right? So make sure that you dedicate at least 15 minutes every day to review the course. So for example, let's say you find Arabic very hard. So what you can do is while you're completing your modules for the other easier courses, dedicate like 10 to 15 minutes to just revise and review the notes of Arabic, to maybe just look at the course slides or the course text or the notes from senior students just to get a gist of the hard course. And what that does, inshallah, it helps you prepare your mindset to come back to the course with a fresher perspective. So dedicating 15 minutes every day just to revise and review makes a lot of difference. And of course, you are expected to take your own notes as well. So if you haven't been taking any notes, this is a good time to maybe start focusing on taking your own notes, because that makes a lot of difference. A lot of students, unfortunately, lose out on their grades because they're not taking their own notes, they're borrowing notes from other students, or they're just referring to the course slides. And as much as I don't want to say this, but unfortunately, course slides are not helpful for attempting your final exams. They're not enough for attempting your module quizzes or your midterm or final exams, as a matter of fact. So make sure when you're going through any lecture, you're taking your own notes, you're taking notes of important names, important concepts, important theories, so that inshallah you can always go back to them. And you can also refer to notes from senior students, which are already uploaded under the course notes section. So in case you've missed anything, you can double check and verify that, inshallah. And finally, of course, also review the module quizzes. So avoid keeping the module quizzes for the very end. I know a lot of students who keep all the module tests for the very end, and then they panic and then they rush through it. And brothers and sisters, this is not a good method. So what I would encourage is, as you are completing your modules, also attempt your module quizzes. So let's say you finish watching module 15 today. As soon as you're done, take a few minutes to revise your course notes and just go ahead and attempt the module quiz. So that way, inshallah, it will be easier for you to recall and retain important information. And whenever you're coming closer to the final exams, you can always go back to those module quizzes and review them, because most questions are, again, repetitive. So yeah. Next is revising consistently. So again, a lot of students come to me and ask me, how can I retain what I've learned? How can I recall what I've learned in the final exams? I find it very hard. So the key, again, brothers and sisters, is to consistently revise. So make sure you're reviewing a course every single day. Now, what I typically suggest to a lot of students is, for example, if you're taking 5 or 6 courses, set specific days of the week for reviewing the course. So for example, on Saturdays, you can review Aqidah. On Sundays, you can review Sira. On Mondays, you can review maybe Arabic, right? Whatever courses you have. So make a timetable and set aside those days for reviewing those courses. Now, your reviewing does not mean it's going to be a lengthy procedure. It's something very quick. So revision is typically 15 to 30 minutes long. So for example, what you will be doing under this revision procedure is basically scanning through your course notes, scanning through all the notes that you've taken. So maybe you can start up Aqidah from module number 16 and all the way until the module that you've completed. You will be quickly reading through your notes and marking any important points, any novel concepts that you may have missed while you were taking your notes. So what this does, it consistent exposure to the information allows you to retain what you've learned and recollect it a lot easier. So revision is always quick, 15 to 30 minutes. Maybe you can set a timer on your phone. You don't really have to go beyond this, and just set aside a few minutes of your time to do that, inshallah. And finally, this brings me to the last tip is to always seek support if you have any questions. Unfortunately, a lot of students keep their doubts until the very end, and it becomes really messy and really difficult to help so many students who are coming in the last minute and asking last minute questions. And unfortunately, many students even miss out on their exams because they have acquired a lot of questions, but they couldn't get them clarified. So make sure you reach out to the right contact for the right queries. So if you have any doubts about certain courses, if you have difficulty understanding certain concepts, reach out to your course teacher. And the information to contact them is again available on the website, on the student dashboard. You can see it under the portal course teacher contact. You will find their email address, their phone number as well. So you can speak to them and get your doubts clarified. Of course, if you have any center related queries, because all students are mandated to attempt their exams from the IOU designated centers, you can reach out to the help desk if you have any questions. So if you've not yet registered for a center, please make sure you are prioritizing this so that you avoid any last minute disappointments. And finally, if you need any form of support in terms of basically retaining what you've learned, or being productive, and maybe some tips on how to stay focused or how to attempt your final exams, you can always reach out to me for support, inshallah. So Jazakumullahu khairan kathira, brothers and sisters, for your time. And inshallah, if you have any questions, this would be a good time to ask. Okay, so I think we already have a question here. How do I reschedule my exam without being deducted? I have another exam within the period, 1st August to 11th August. Please reach out to me, inshallah. Please drop me an email at student.counselor@iou.edu.gm. We'll be listing out the email below in the chat box. You can reach out to me, and inshallah, I will guide you through the necessary procedure. Okay, any suggestions to decrease nervousness, especially during the exam? Yes, of course. It is firstly, it's very normal to experience anxiety and nervousness before you start attempting your midterm or your final exams, as a matter of fact. So the first tip that I would suggest is for you to consider using any sort of positive affirmations. So, for example, if you're at the center and if you're feeling really anxious, really nervous, perhaps even sweating and feeling dizzy, remind yourself that it's just an exam and that you're prepared and that you're equipped to do this exam, inshallah. Maybe do some dhikr, recite some istighfar, so that inshallah you feel a little better and more confident. Secondly, is to make sure that you stay hydrated. So maybe while you're going to the exam center, grab a bottle of water, or maybe take in a juice or something that would help you stay hydrated and stay focused. And thirdly, remember that whenever you're attempting your exam, make sure you're seated comfortably in a comfortable position. Make sure the temperature is right. If you need any help, maybe with setting the right temperature, you can ask your proctor for help. So don't panic. Take it easy. Take it slow. Take deep breaths while you're attempting your exam. And if you are encountering any difficulties with the questions, take your time to answer them, inshallah. So I hope that helps. Do final exams cover the later part of each course or the entire course material? So no. So for the final exams, most of the questions would be from the post-midterm modules. And you might come across maybe one or two questions from the pre-midterm modules. So your focus should be on the post-midterm modules first. And if you have time, you can maybe review your questions from the module tests of the pre-midterm modules and the midterm exam, so that you're inshallah prepared for those questions too. But again, it's just one or two questions. So focus on the post-midterm modules first. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I think inshallah we can end the session. Once again, Jazakumullahu khairan kathira for tuning in. And if you have any questions or any concerns, you can always reach out to me, inshallah, and I will be happy to support you. So all the best for your upcoming final exams. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you to ace them. Take care, brothers and sisters. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.